Hey everybody, welcome to another week of Last Week in Ecom. I'm Brandon,
Jerry.
and today we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're talking about TikTok, ads examples, some data around Valentine's Day, some YouTube stuff, meme page marketing, and news. So let's just dive right into it. First of all, TikTok announced that through TikTok Shop, they're taking 8% fee for all revenue generated through TikTok Shop. And initially there was a lot of backlash on this on Twitter and stuff, just because it was a lot bigger than it was before. But zooming out, it's less than Amazon takes, and if you just view it as sort of like a cost of acquisition, you could obviously make the case that it's less than what Google charges if you're doing Google ads to generate revenue for an e-commerce store, or Meta, et cetera, et cetera. So granted, you may or may not be spending on TikTok ads too, so that would increase the overall cost. But as a total fee of 8%, honestly, I don't think it's unreasonable, and I think that TikTok shops are still going to blow up in 2024. They've been growing in 2023, and I think that's just gonna keep growing. Paul, who we cite a lot from BK Beauty, he mentioned that 35% of his overall revenue is from TikTok shops, and they're a very well established beauty brand. So that's a very meaningful number. And there's countless other examples of that being the case. So definitely not something to not dive into, just because TikTok raised their fee, in my opinion. And related to that, TikTok has a new feature called the Creative Assistant. It's basically an AI assistant built into their ad platform, and it's actually really powerful. I demoed it myself, and you can just chat with their AI assistant, and it will do ad copy for you, come up with hooks, generate images, all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't say it is at the level where it would replace, a true marketer, but it's a nice little jumping off. So anyway, check that out. Any thoughts on any of that TikTok stuff?
Don't be cheap. The opportunity is still massive there, and so even though that 8% might be kind of annoying because it went from just offering pure discounts to, I think they'll still cover some discounts, but they're going to charge a little bit of a commission. It's still way better than a lot of the other platforms, and these shopping platforms that are integrated into these social apps are going to continue to be huge in 2024. So master TikTok shop, and that will help you on these other platforms as well. So next, we wanted to talk about some ads that we've seen that we thought were cool and that you should definitely be testing in your accounts. So one of those is just purely an AI generated ad. And these are big on TikTok right now. We've seen countless cases of these outperforming normal TikToks that generally you'd see people make, whether that's with an influencer or that you make in house. So it's definitely worth testing. Just make sure that you have a good hook, that there's a lot of different transitions in the video to different things to kind of trigger people's attention and their dopamine hits, and have a good AI voiceover or an actual human voiceover. And it's definitely worth testing. We are wanting to test and are advising a lot of our clients to test AI cross channel, static images or videos. It's just that it's too easy to make to neglect if you're spending a lot of money. So might as well test out some of the AI ad types. I want to talk about a few others, but I don't know if you had
No,
anything
you
about
keep
AI.
going.
Okay. The next ad type we saw that we liked a lot was one that we'll show you right here. That they're the text-based or like SMS-based ads. So basically, it's just a screenshot of a conversation, and it'll have the blue and the gray or black or whatever. It looks like an iPhone conversation, and it'll be somebody texting about a particular product. I think these are really effective because, one, they can often be humorous and it's an opportunity to use some creative copy. Two, I think that it piques people's curiosity because naturally as humans we're kind of nosy and we're kind of gossipy, and so when we see a screenshot of a text pop up on our social feed, automatically, at least for me, and I think for most humans, I want to see what they're freaking talking about. I want to read this. So I think that's an effective way. The last ad that we wanted to talk about as a good example of an effective advertisement is the POV ad. And we think these are especially effective. We'll show you one right here. If from High Smile, if you can do a POV ad that goes from the order coming in to you in the warehouse fulfilling the order, packaging it, and then shipping it. And some tips with this one is to have really quick cuts, make sure you're moving quickly. This kind of stuff piques people's interest. It registers those dopamine hits in the brain because it's cutting quick, it's moving fast. Everyone was wondering what's going on. You can even drop stuff. Like, it can be sort of chaotic, and it's going to be effective. And we see great returns on ads like this. And things with like Meta Ray-Bans, they're kind of a cool new development in the world that it is worth getting if you want to try something fun with your brand and give something to your team that's going to be fun for them to film these types of videos.
Yeah, I think I agree with all that. And maybe the last example is a little harder on the production side, but it's not that hard. But like the text conversation and the AI stuff, it's the cost to create that type of creative is not that high, and you obviously can give the algorithm more stuff to test. So definitely worth checking out. Okay, next thing that we wanted to discuss is some data from Jeremiah at No Commerce. They get a lot of very valuable data with their software that they have, and he tweeted out the other day that it was basically just a graph that shows how often the person bought the thing that they bought, according to the post-purchase survey, that they bought it for themselves versus their significant other versus like a friend or family member or somebody else. And it's basically like a yearly chart, and there's four peaks on the chart where where they bought more than usual for other people. So the four peaks are Christmas time, by far is the highest. Mother's and Father's Day are much below, but those are two of the other peaks. And then Valentine's Day is the last little peak. But the data besides that is largely pretty flat, pretty even across the board as far as what the numbers are. And why I think it's relevant right now is because even during Valentine's Day, according to post-purchase surveys, 70% of purchases that people make around the couple weeks leading up to Valentine's Day are for ourselves. So in regards to creating relevant ad copy and ad creative and all that kind of stuff, 70% of people are not buying it for their significant other or anybody else. It's for themselves. So whatever, treat yourself is obviously like overused, but that kind of messaging is the kind of messaging that you should get into, since that's 70% of purchases. So we thought that was really interesting and valuable.
A product that loves you as much as you do.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That's a good cheesy ad copy.
Yeah.
Next, we want to talk about YouTube and Gen Z. So obviously, Gen Z is kind of that rising generation that's going, already in the workforce, going to be heavily into the workforce soon, and they're going to have money to spend. And as far as platforms go that they trust the most, it's not even close, and it's YouTube. And like I mentioned, by a long shot. And I think that's an interesting data point to note, because while that rings true for Gen Z, I bet that's true for other generations as well, especially when it comes to millennials and even some of the younger generations. So a lot of brands really neglect YouTube, whether that's making their own content on YouTube that's long form, as well as even just simply reposting what you're putting on Reels or what you're putting on TikTok onto YouTube Shorts. We see many brands that even forget or neglect to do that. And then working with influencers on YouTube. We talked about that last week. And all of these things are going to be huge if you want to continue to scale your brand with some of these younger generations. So we're going to be putting out a whole piece on this here shortly that's going to talk about YouTube, how to make content there, what kind of content you should be making, and how to set it up so that it shows up well in YouTube search engine. If you didn't know, Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is basically its own search engine, but you're looking for and finding videos. And people go there to learn, they go there to find products, they go there for everything in between. And according to the data that we're showing you right here, Gen Z trusts it by far and way more than any other platform.
Yeah, and it is second only to Meta as far as daily active users. So you definitely need to have a good YouTube strategy for 2024. I mean, you should have had a good one in 2014. So If you haven't started yet, then get on it. Okay, next thing we want to talk about is meme page marketing. Oliver from Tabs Chocolate uh, came out with a video recently. Here's a little screenshot of that. He shared some good insights. But basically, what he went over was just the opportunity that you have to market to people on Instagram and TikTok largely via meme page marketing. And these are pages that are exclusively just posting memes or jokes or whatever. And the benefit of it is they get massive reach just in general because of the type of content they share, and their costs are pretty low compared to anything else you can get on the market, and they're also pretty predictable and consistent. So it's just like a nice low hanging fruit, quick win that could be worth testing depending on your brand. Of course, if you do this, you should lean into the type of meme page that you're going to be marketing through in regards to the content. So try to have it be, more funny or edgy or whatever. But it's an underutilized strategy that we thought would be worth mentioning and worth testing in 2024.
I'd also say like the engagement is insane on these meme pages time and time again. If you look, they have tons of likes, tons of comments because memes are generating conversation from internet culture and from what's going on in the world. And so if you're able to tap into that, you're going to get insane engagement. And I do believe with marketing that any publicity is good publicity. So even if there's some negative comments, like it's still going to generate good awareness and sales for you and build opportunities for you to generate new ads and new ad ideas from those memes based on the comments that people are leaving. They love you or hate you. You can make a lot of funny videos from that as well.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Okay, lastly, we just wanted to finish up with some quick news. Number one, Twitter X announced a partnership with Shopify. They also announced that they're going to be rolling out payments within the platform. So it'll be interesting to see how they integrate Shopify, and that could be a nice opportunity for ecom brands. As we've talked about recently, Twitter ads currently are also a nice opportunity for e-commerce brands because the ad costs on Twitter/X are lower than normal. Anyway, that'll just be something worth monitoring. And then also Sean Frank from Ridge Wallet, who we obviously quote a lot, he came out with like 2024 predictions, and we'll have like a screenshot. I'll link to the tweet too below. But there were a lot of really good predictions, and it's kind of all over the board in regards to some different topics. But one thing that he commented on is he firmly believes in the rise of shops, and just even, I mean, yes, TikTok shop, but also Meta shops, Facebook, Instagram, and also Shopify getting more involved on like the social side and with their shop. So anyway, those will be interesting to follow along with. So anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you learned some stuff. Thank you.